Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic show. This is episode 422. We got a great guest. We've got one of the co-founders of Brizy, a fantastic WordPress page building plugin and platform, with Dimi. Dimi, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Yeah, sure. I'm Dimi Baitanciuc. Jonathan skipped that because it's very hard to pronounce. I'm Dimi. I'm one of the co-founder of Brizy. Actually, it's the only platform that offers a WordPress plugin and has a WordPress plugin component and also a cloud platform. So basically, the builder is offered in these two separate ways for our client. I'm one of the designers as well here. So a lot of the UI and UX you see there, it's partially my fault or my achievement. It depends on how you want to put it.
Right, thank you. And I've got my great co-host, Adrian, with me. Adrian, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Hi, everyone. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Adrian. I am the CEO and founder of Groundhog, and our company produces sales and marketing automation tools for businesses that use WordPress. And if you want to learn more about that, you can head on over to groundhog.io with 2 Gs.
Thank you. And our listeners and viewers, new ones, have been increasing recently. So you probably have got a lot of new people, Adrian, that you've got to introduce yourself, which is very encouraging that our figures have increased recently. And I appreciate your support, listeners and viewers. Before we go into the main part of the interview, I want to mention one of my great sponsors, and that is Kinsta Hosting. Now, if you've got a learning management system, a membership site, WooCommerce, the normal run-of-the-mill kind of WordPress hosting is going to cause you a lot of frustration. You really need more powerful hosting, and this is where Kinsta comes in. They've built their platform on Google Cloud, which means you get some of the best technology in the world. They've built a fantastic UX interface upon that system, and also you get all the bells and whistles when it comes to technology. And the reason why you should be interested in that, it will make your site more safer, more quicker, more easier to manage. So if that sounds interesting for you, if you're a developer or if you're a power user, I suggest that you go over to Kinsta. They're fantastic people to do business with, very responsive. You get fantastic technical support. Go over to Kinsta, have a look at their plans. I suggest that you should sign up with them and tell them that you heard about them from listening to this podcast. So we're going to go into the interview now, folks. So, Dimi, why did you decide, you and your partners, to go into the really competitive world of WordPress page builders? Can you give us a bit of a background story of the company and you and your founders' history and what led you to produce Dimi?
Sure. Actually, it's because of a couple of reasons, but mainly we weren't so, how to put it nicely, we weren't so keen on what was on the market. At that point, we started 2 years ago, and we always thought that there is a better way to do things rather than throwing hundreds of options in a sidebar somewhere and letting the users figure out how to use them. And we thought that we'll need to build something that it's more user-friendly and lowers the entry level a lot. So basically, you actually don't have to know anything about coding or design to use Brizy. It's very, very easy to use. This is one of our objectives, to make it super easy to use. Another reason is that I think we thought we could do it a bit better, right? Better and we started to develop this project and work on it. It doesn't make too much sense to do the same thing, right? If you start doing it, why do it the same? Why do it something that is already there, that is and maybe incrementally do it a bit better? And we throw ourselves out there, and we started to basically to question everything and to start it from scratch and do something that we're proud of, and users will appreciate from the ease of use and usability standpoint of view.
So just a quick follow-through question: What was you and your founders doing before you developed the first?
Before
version?
this, we actually right now we have another business called ThemeFuse. It was founded in 2009. The same guys founded it, and it's basically a premium themes shop. You can purchase premium themes there. We've also had another project, a framework for developing themes, the Unison, called Unison. With actually, I think it's right now it has around 100,000 plus active installs. So there are a lot of themes built on it, and also sold on ThemeForest and Mojo and marketplaces like that. And we had actually a builder there, but it was from the era of backend builders. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those, where you need to update every time and go on the front end and see what you've done and things like that, and put all the pieces there in the backend. And it was actually time to move everything in the front end, and we had this pet project inside the company called Brizy, and we've made some experiments and things like that, and we've decided to focus basically on Brizy and develop it.
Right.
Yeah. And invest a lot in it, the energy, and
Well, thank you. Over to you, Adrian.
So what would be, I've only actually recently heard of your product. I travel in similar circles as some of your companies do, and primarily in the WordPress as a service. Pardon?
I'm sure it's because it's our fault.
So for example, the WordPress as a service community, a lot of them use your products because you offer white labeling stuff. But so do some of the other page builders. So I'm wondering if someone's listening to this and they're saying, well, I've just heard about Brizy for the first time. What are some of the competitive advantages that Brizy would offer as opposed to tools like Elementor or Beaver Builder, which are, well, Elementor, for example, just crossed the 3 million active installations on the WordPress repository as of this week. So where are we? So what are some of the competitive advantages that Brizy Builder offers?
Yeah, first of all, Elementor doesn't offer a white label.
I know that.
Yeah. Okay, so this might be the first point. The second will be the ease of use. I think the ease of use and the user experience using it, if you're offering a tool like Brizy to your clients, is basically 3.0. It's something like we've received a huge amount of feedback regarding how easy Brizy it is to use and work with and learn. And the third point will be the design. We have a very solid design department here. Actually, I think this is one of our edge advantages since 2009 when we started ThemeFuse. We always try to make the designs not so template. I think you understand what I'm saying. You see all the cookie cutter templates out there. So we always try to put an original and creative spin on things. Plus, there is this cloud thing, as I've mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah. So what does the cloud portion actually So you mentioned that earlier. So you have the plugin, which is the page builder framework that people can install on their WordPress site, and then you have this cloud portion of the company. So what's the difference in between those two, and how do people or what space would you need to be in order to qualify for actually using the cloud version of this?
The cloud basically is included. The cloud is included with the purchase of Brizy license. So the cloud is basically a platform. The way Brizy is built as a technical part is built on React, full React. So this gives us the possibility and the chance to basically take it from WordPress and put it standalone as a builder standalone outside of WordPress. So basically what we've created a hosted platform. Think of it like, I don't know, Wix or Square or Squarespace or Weebly or something like this. So it's basically a hosted platform that is powered by the Brizy builder, is the same builder. And if you purchase a Brizy license, Pro license, you get access to the WordPress plugin and to the cloud version of the plugin. What you do now for complex projects, because we got this question a lot in the past. What should I use? If I should use WordPress or if I should go and use cloud? It's basically if you are doing complex projects that require databases and shops and things very filtering and blogs and things like that, where basically WordPress is very powerful and brings some tools to the table that will help you a lot. You'll go WordPress. And if you want to build a presentation website, multi-page website, basically business websites and landing pages for marketers and things like that, you go the cloud way. But more importantly and interesting part is that we are working on this right now. We'll merge the two, the WordPress part and the cloud part, in the sense that you will be able to sync blocks and layouts from WordPress into your cloud account and take them there, modify them with the cloud builder, save them and bring them back to whatever WordPress website you are logging in.
So the cloud builder is kind of like Lead Pages or ClickFunnels kind of. So it's that hosted solution.
Yeah, only better.
Only better,
yeah.
Obviously.
Kind of like what...
But it's kind of like the same concept, right? You can log in from anywhere and just go edit your site. It's not WordPress. It's cloud hosted. You do all the management of the server and stuff like that. Very, very, very cool. Jonathan?
Yeah, security is handled by us. Everything is if you don't want the overhead basically of WordPress, and just to comment a bit on this, I'm not saying that WordPress brings something to the table, a lot of power, and is a great tool. We've made Brizy for WordPress, so right. But sometimes you just why you have take a bag of rocks with you with all the databases, all the installs and all that, when you just need to build a fast landing page, or maybe to prototype something very fast for a client, or maybe to create a 3-4 page business website that doesn't require databases, doesn't require blogs,
Right. Makes total sense. Jonathan?
Yeah, I think we're going to go for our break, folks. When we come back, we're going to be delving more in this fantastic product, Brizy. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. Dimi's been handling this with flair. His English is very impressive. My foreign language abilities are not very impressive, so I'll give him full marks. Dimi, similar to Adrian's question in the first half of the show, we got to discuss the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and that's Gutenberg. So how do you see not only your own products, but the other page builders? How are they going to be able to compete or still exist in a world of ever increasing complexity and power of Gutenberg?
That, to be honest, we'll just have to live and see, right? It's hard for me now to just, but I can. How will my take on it is that besides that there is room for everybody, I'm sure in there, and quality products and products that are well built and have the client and the ease of use and the usability and all that jazz around it, and they will always have a spot and will find a place.
Yeah, but I've got to give you top marks for Brizy. I haven't used it. I'm going to get a license and have a look at it, because when it comes to actually the technology and some of the ideas that you've put in place, you and your team, they are very impressive, what you've done with your platform. Over to you, Adrian.
So one sec, I just want to finish the idea I had in mind. And there is another point with Gutenberg. I think that they receive a lot of maybe a bit unfair pushback from the community, because they mainly, I think the community expected that something way they had a comparison, so they expected something maybe on par with the builders that are, or at least were at that point on the market. But I think that professionals, freelancers, developers, and they will always go for a product that they'll fulfill the whole thing, right? If you go Gutenberg, it's okay, it's perfect. It will most likely be perfect for 90% of of the users, but the professionals and then the freelancer that will want to build websites, I think they will always go for tools like Brizy, Elementor, and things like that, right? Because I'm not sure you want to depend on too much on a lot of blocks, a lot of plugins. Take this from there, a lot of developers, a lot of support from different places. This is my take on it. So I'm not too afraid. Plus, we have some plans with Gutenberg compatibility. So
yes, I can see that pathway, and I think that is an exciting pathway. Actually, before I put it over to Adrian again, I just want to say, like I said, I think your product with Adrian, I think both you and your team and Adrian and his team, you got two of the most interesting products in the WordPress space at the present moment. So I give both you and Adrian top marks for trying to do things in original and trying to deal with difficult problems. That's enough praise for you, Adrian. Your head's going to explode, actually. Over to you, Adrian.
So I'm sure people are curious to know, as I mentioned earlier, Beaver Builder is in the 6 figures. Elementor is now in the mid 7 figures. What is your current user count? How many people are currently using your product? Are they using it well? Are there any notable names that we should know about that are using your product to just provide a little bit of credibility, a little bit of social proof? What do you got for us?
Yeah, sure. We have, I think we're at 50,000+ active installs.
Very respectable.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too much, but it's a lot, and you'll actually have to build a plugin and start ranking up the active installs to see how hard it is to.
Oh, trust me, I wish I was there.
Yeah. We had a huge amount of positive feedback. If anyone can do a Google search and see the reviews from Adam, from WP Crafter, W-Toots, and Daryl Wilson. We have a bunch of very positive and passionate feedback from them, and the users actually we are now starting to gather some. We want to build a testimonial page, and you should see the the reviews, and we are basically awestruck by how the feedback we are receiving. I think we have a lot of things still to develop, right, for Brizy, where we are still young. We've launched it last year, and we have we've added a lot of things, but we also need to add a bunch more, and we still have some interesting idea made the Brizy way. So some things that I bet will impress the community, and things done very thoughtful, and yeah.
So quick follow-up question. I'm actually just looking at your WordPress repository listing here.
Yeah, sure.
Just to confirm, it is /Brizy, right? I'm looking at the right place?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's a free version here. Now, if someone wanted to go, for example, test your free version that's hosted on the repository, and you mentioned a pro version several times, what are the differences they can expect? And will they be able to get the full experience of what it'll be like to work with Brizy, given just the free add-on that's in the
for sure. If you download the free version from the WordPress repository, you can actually go to your WP admin and search it right there in the plugin section. You'll get the full experience. The pro version basically adds some extended functionality, like things like integrations, for example. The contact form, for example, is in free. We've included in free as well. So basically, we wanted to let you create a full website. So if you install the free version, you'll be able to, from start to finish, of course, with not all the bells and whistles, but you'll be able to create a full website and experience Brizy fully. The Pro brings extended functionality, like integrations, like a pop-up builder, for example, like block conditions that we're developing right now, premium designs. We are developing also a new block kit that will be part in Pro. So yeah, basically it's the usual deal with.
You can get pretty far, but if you want the bells and whistles, you have to upgrade to Pro.
Yeah, if you want the bells and whistles, you'll need to upgrade. Yeah.
Now, is that premium an all-inclusive price? So it's just one price and you get all the stuff, or is it like a freemium service where you kind of pick and choose what you want?
No. It's basically you
all-inclusive,
price, and you get all the Pro functionality plus, of course, access to the cloud. The accounts are the same. If you have a Brizy account, you have a Brizy cloud account.
Gotcha. Good to know. Jonathan?
So, one of the unique things which we've touched during the interview is the cloud platform, but kind of other attempts to integrate a kind of plugin with a SaaS element haven't worked that well, but it's also a fascinating area where I really see the future of WordPress, really. Have you got any insight? What made you and your team add the cloud element? What was it part of the plan from day one? Or was it feedback? Or can you give some insight? And did you have your concerns about going down, trying to build this hybrid model, Dimi?
Yeah, sure. I can't tell you how it will pan out. It will pan out great. We are the first to do it, right, in WordPress. So I'll let you guys know on the same podcast when. How it will pan out, but we are very confident because this is a new and shiny thing, right? But the flexibility we think that the flexibility that this product will give you. It will be, you want to move fast, right? In this day and age, you have a new client, maybe you want to prototype something, you want to work something fast, you'll go into your cloud account, you'll do some things, then switch to WordPress and switch back later on. We wanted to merge these two areas, and of course there are the usual concerns, right? Any company has them. Security, you need to take care of it. You need to go to the best providers. We are using Amazon servers and all their power. So there are concerns, but if you plan accordingly and you tackle them one by one, I think we have very competent people here. I'm not sure I've mentioned the design is in Bucharest, in Romania, and the programming and our other partners are in Moldova, in Chișinău, and we've picked I want to be proud of this, that we work with some of the best programmers in the country on React and on the server side. So hopefully, and I think we have everything covered for now. So and to answer your question, we've planned this from the start. It was not a feedback. It was not something regarding feedback, and we've. Because you know why? Because the product is built on this technology that is very powerful and very flexible, React. So you can I always imagine that we use WordPress as a shell, right, to encapsulate the builder. But if you take the shell out, you can take the builder and move it to SaaS in Brizy Cloud, to Shopify. I'm just giving some example. It doesn't happen like that tomorrow to be on Shopify on other platforms, but it's easier because of the flexibility of the technology.
Yeah, I totally, I think, there have been other attempts. Crowd Favorite had their restaurant platform that was built on multi-site, but that was a few years ago. But obviously with new technologies like React, the scope of, not only a kind of theme-based, but actual application-based tailored solutions are more available. But I actually think it's not only a technology problem, Dimi. I think there's also a marketing challenge of, but I think aiming your solutions in a white label so other users can work out the marketing challenges of finding niche sectors and just using your platform in the background is the right direction, and I'll give you full kudos for doing that. I think if Dimi, are you okay staying on for another 10 minutes and we do some bonus content?
Yeah, sure. We can.
So we're going to wrap up the podcast part of the show. So Dimi, if people want to find more about Brizy and the company in general, where's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, the best place is on our website, brizy.io, or you can just search in Google, but just go to our website, brizy.io. We also have a YouTube channel with a bunch of tutorials and step walkthroughs and how to use the builders, different tools and things like that. We are there and we are on Facebook as well. We have a very vibrant and passionate community. I think a couple of them are watching right now. I've put the link in our community. So and you can reach us. You can reach me personally on dimi@brizy.io, and that's it.
Well, that's great. And Dimi and his team were kind to offer you, the WP-Tonic viewer and watcher, a discount, a 10% discount. I will have the full information for that, the coupon code and the link to get that discount in the show notes that will accompany this great interview. Adrian, how can people find out more about you and your company as well?
So if you're looking to be able to communicate with your subscribers better, you want to build your list, you want to create some marketing automation and send out some automated emails, then you probably want to check out Groundhog with 2Gs. We all provide a full service marketing automation and sales tool free for WordPress. You can head over to groundhogwith2gs.io in order to learn more about that. Also on Facebook at Groundhog, again with 2Gs, WP.
And I'm noticing in the background, am I correct, you're offering the WP?
So this is my new perpetual discount that I'm just going to leave for anybody who's watching in the top left-hand corner.
So it's 20. He's been very generous to you listeners and viewers. He's offering 25. I must be pleasing him in some way. He's offering the listeners and viewers a 25% discount if you use the coupon code W-Tonic.
Yeah, that's perpetual from now on. So this, right. as long as you keep me a co-host on the show, Jonathan.
I've been very happy with how things going. Hopefully, you also are happy. I think we've quickly developed a good partnership, and I think the guests have been enjoying it as well.
It's all about providing value.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up the show now, folks. You'll be able to watch some bonus content. And you'll be able to see that on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel, which is growing rapidly. We're approaching 1,500 subscribers. Keep subscribing to the channel. And like, we publish the show and other content the earliest on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. We'll be back next week with another fabulous guest like Dimi, and hopefully giving you insights on how to build an effective online course with a product like Brizy. I think in some ways it's rejuvenated. Products like Brizy have rejuvenated WordPress and made it a much more relevant tool in 2019. We'll be back next week, folks. Bye. So I was fascinated, Dimi, that you said from day one that you and your co-founders.
And I'll tell you why that is.
Right.
We basically started a project called a small part of our team started a project called BitBlocks.me. It was a landing page builder. Basically, it was a landing page builder for marketers, and that was basically the foundation of Brizy. We got a lot of feedback from there. A lot of users wanted something more powerful. You couldn't do a lot with it. It didn't have structure, columns, and things like that. You only could modify some parts that were already built there, but the idea and the vision was there. All the elements were, and all the tools and options were layered directly on the interface, everything. So that was the spark that we were working on features on this side, and that team created this project, and at some point we needed to basically, how entrepreneurs do it. They solve their problem first, right? So on the Brizy side, we've discussed that we need something to push the building WordPress websites and themes, and this was an interesting pet project. And we've gathered together, made a strategy meeting, put everything together, and from that point on, we've started to work on Brizy, and we've decided to bring it on WordPress. It was our business, our core business for years, and also it's from the business standpoint of view, it's kind of stupid not to come in this WordPress space, right? You have 30% of the internet going on WordPress. So, yeah.
Oh, it's great. Over to you, Adrian.
So for anybody listening, I want to help identify or help you identify if those people listening should be at least looking into, if not already using your product. So what verticals or business types specifically benefit from using Brizy as opposed to Elementor or Beaver Builder? Or is there any particular niche that you serve really, really well, either through templates or just through the functionality that you offer? Is it freelancers? Is it agencies? Who benefits?
So first of all, anyone who wants to build a website and doesn't know design, doesn't know code, Brizy, it's excellent for them. I think we've lowered the bar, entry bar a lot with Brizy. All the builders out there are basically easy to use, right? You click stuff, you edit stuff. But I think we've layered options and everything you do in Brizy in such a way that is not intimidating, right? You click something, you get some basic and important options. Then if you want to go further, you go further and edit something more complex. But everything is layered and brought to your attention in such a way that I think it's great. So this is one group. The second group is the WAS group, for example. We are one of...
WAS stands for WordPress as a service, or websites as a service, for those who do not know.
Yeah, WordPress as a service. So if you're, for example, looking to build a business like WordPress.com or Squarespace or things like that on WordPress, you will install a WordPress on multi-site. You'll get a Brizy WAS license, WordPress as a service license, and you'll basically be able to offer all your clients that purchase your product Brizy as a tool to create their websites. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we are. I'm not sure if you are. We are the only one that offers it. I think there is. I'm not sure, but I think this is a great thing to empower businesses to basically offer Brizy Pro as a tool to create websites for their clients.
So you mentioned. So you mentioned that it's really easy to get into Brizy at an entry level, but I just want to make sure that for the professionals that are here.
Until I saw the next product that it's easier, I think this is the easiest. Yeah. The easiest way to get into creating websites, right? Because we are not talking necessarily about WordPress right now. We view it as we are talking about WordPress because we are in the WP-Tonic podcast. But if you want to build websites, you build it on WordPress using the WordPress plugin and the cloud. The cloud, if you want to go outside WordPress. And I think a lot of designers and freelancers and web studios or maybe and agencies are benefiting from our product. And I'll tell you why. A lot of clients want to dabble into things, want to modify things, want to do some things, right? And this will empower their clients to use this easy-to-use tool and give them. And we also have a role manager, for example. You can limit some things, and your clients will only input content, and they'll get access to modification that doesn't break the design or things like that, right? So we are appealing to a bunch of people. So what Jonathan told a couple of minutes ago, that it is a challenge market from the marketing standpoint. It actually is a challenge because we have designers, we have freelancers, agencies, and on the cloud side, we have all that range of landing page builders, marketers. So we need to basically catch all of them, right? Yeah.
Right, but it does it all. So if you're either, I guess, getting started or you're an expert at this point, then Brizy fits the bill. Jonathan?
Yeah, Dimi, you're involved in the interface UX part of Brizy. Now, really good UX design is not easy, is it not, Dimi? Because
I think we've
just
drawn and redesigned and redrawn and rehashed and recoded and every little thing. And to be perfectly honest, we still have work to do, right? I'm very passionate about it, and I'm proud of the product, and we're going great. Updates are coming at a nice pace, and we have ideas to put things there that will be. I'm super excited about it, but we still have work to do. This is the truth. This is the honest truth.
Oh, yeah. So, there was a second part to my question, actually. So it's not easy because you're dealing with two contradictory requirements. You know, with all software products, the need to add more functionality, more inbuilt value into the product is an ever-going pressure. But on the other hand, that's a total anathema or a contradiction to ease of use. And as a professional UX designer, you're supposed to be able to make something easy to use with an ever-increasing amount of functionality requirements. How do you deal with that? And have you got any insights on how you deal with that? Only a slight question.
Yeah. I think this is one of the most challenging things. You've basically put the dot on the I. This is the most challenging thing, and we are somewhat blessed to work on the development side, because I'm not sure if you're familiar, but most likely you guys are. But if someone is not, in my experience in the past, the development and the design teams are somewhat colliding in a sense. The design maybe doesn't all the time understand all the technical part. The coders and the developers, maybe they don't put so much attention on let's do it, let's code it. It doesn't matter necessarily how it looks. Let's cram. Where are sidebar, 300 options. So when you try to bring those two together in a way that makes sense, it's hard. But we are blessed. On the other side, we have Sergio, that is the lead developer and the lead there, the project manager. That he is not only a very good programmer and understands the project as a whole and the management part, but actually understands the importance of UI and usability and things like that. So we had a easier, to put it like this, an easier help me, an easier way, an easier path.
So what you're saying is really good communication with the developer and the UX is a crucial.
And this was a challenge as well, but it was a challenge because we were in two different countries, and you can imagine that we're all day on conferences and discussing things, and we're not in the same office, the design and the development. But we're kind of used to it since 2009, so it became a very minor issue.
Yeah. So, Adrian, is that a constant? Do you think I'm on the right track?
Oh my God, I have a speech for you. The amount of feedback that we get from my own plugin for Groundhog is exponential. Because what happens is, as you onboard more users, those users come in and they're pretty new to the product. They don't know anything, and they start testing, and they experience their first successes, and they become super aware of the product. And once that certain group becomes super aware of the product, they want more features and they want more functionality because they want to do cooler things, and they want to grow their business, and they want all of these features. And so you build those features and you build them into the platform because they asked for it and you want to make your users happy so they continue using your product. The catch-22 there is when you add in those new features, you alienate new users who are coming in who don't know anything about the product and are going through that learning curve experience. So the more stuff that you're adding in, the more that the initial or the new user has to learn in order to become successful, right? But you don't want to limit the people who already have learned the product and are being successful with the product in being able to just do the stuff that they want. So it's always that constant balance of being able to provide value to new users and into experienced users while maintaining the simplicity and the overall ease of use of the original platform that you started with, so that those new people who come in don't have to have a super massive learning curve for all of the new stuff you added in for the super experienced people. And that's why we went down the freemium road, and all of our new features at this point are just being built into add-ons and extensions. So that way we can keep our overall, so the main plugin that's in the repository, super user-friendly and while providing epic value, but making sure that that our new customers and our new users can continue to experience that short learning curve and experience success really, really quickly without having to go through like 30,000 different settings and all of that stuff, while being able to provide an epic amount of value to our more experienced users by implementing like 80% of all of the stuff that they want from us into additional add-ons and extensions. And, you know, we're not the only company that does this. WooCommerce does that. Easy Digital Downloads does that. And that's how we've managed that expectation.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. And just to wrap up, and I'm going to ask Dimi if he agree with Dimi, what Adrian has been outlining there is that I'm not in no shape or form an experienced UX designer, but what I've learned, being head of a small design agency, is that there's two ways of dealing with this. There's what Adrian has expressed. I call it modernization. You add additional functionality in add-on modules. So if you want e-commerce functionality, this is in an add-on. Now Adrian does it
like WordPress and plugins. You know, you add in your modules, you're adding your plugins. Yeah.
You know, so it's the plugin model on an add-on model to add functionality. The other way is know your boundaries, know what you want your product, what are the core things that the product should do, and be very ruthless about not being guided or tempted to go outside a grounded core set of things that you envisage the product to do.
The idea of doing like one thing really, really, really well.
Yeah, not end up
actually
with
I think what you're saying, Jonathan, is way harder to do than to develop everything that you come to mind, right? Because you have to know the boundaries and to stop yourself in actually doing it. The challenge that I saw when we are encountering, I'll give an example. We've been working this past 2.5 months without an update. We are now in beta testing the latest update. We've worked on the core, right? We work on the foundation. And why is that? Because we've arrived at a point when we've decided that it's time to stop a bit, you know, okay, put the brakes on a bit and don't chase the features. I see this in this space every time. Someone comes with I don't know what. The next week, the other guy comes with the same stuff. Put the brakes a bit, return back to the roots, and take care of the gardening, right? Take care of the foundation that will let us push things a bit, maybe increase those boundaries that you were talking about.
Yeah, I think, Adrian, you've just gone through that yourself. Funny enough.
Yeah. So we exploded really, really, really quickly in terms of the amount of features that we offer, mostly in the forms of like 25 add-ons that are currently in our store due to just the amount of stuff that people want, they want to integrate. As a marketing automation tool, we have a responsibility and a duty to be able to connect to their store, connect to their support center, have a deep integration into WordPress and all of these integrations and sales pipelines and stuff like that. So we built all of those things, and now, we got to a point where we're looking at our code base and like, all right, we have to future-proof this thing because, if like WordPress updates or, the newest shiny programming language like React, for example, comes out, how are we going to be able to make sure that, this stuff is still relevant in 2, 3, 4 years? So we've just gone back and said, all right, what is it that we want to do? What is it that we want to enable people to do? And let's go do some housekeeping. And we just went through an entire course restructuring for our 2.0, which comes out at the end of the month. That's super exciting. We're going to get that done.
Nice plug.
That's super exciting.
No, but isn't it a product-based decision, right? Because it's not a way of putting in the wrong or right. Because a product like yours, Adrian, works great with the strategy you are taking, and Brizy I think will work great the same with this strategy, especially because we're now putting core things into Brizy right now, but still putting core things. But we're also started the work and put the foundation for an API. So basically, what you're saying will extend that in your strategy and let other developers.
That's
the little things, the more niche things that they want.
That's a huge part of our strategy, is being able to enable other developers who want to be able to build businesses and entire companies based on our platform. For example, there are entire development teams like Woo Themes dedicated to developing stuff for WooCommerce and implementation and stuff like that. There are now entire themes and theme stores developed or devoted to the Elementor page builder, and we want to make sure that we can enable those companies. So to go back to Jonathan's original query, I personally prefer modularity, but
I'm not even sure that word exists. Does it?
I'm sure it does. I'm sure if we looked it up, it exists somewhere in.
I have a habit of making words up, Dimi, when I do.
But you're also totally correct in making sure, when it is to stand your ground on what the core thing that you want to offer. I've had to stand my ground on what we want to be able to offer in our free version. On several different occasions. Like, can I use it for support? Can I use it for sales pipeline? Can I use it for all of these different things? And why aren't those free? And why aren't those in core? It's like, well, because that's not really what it was meant to do in the first place. And if you want that stuff, then you can pay for it because it took a lot of time and a lot of effort to put those things together. But, if what you're looking to do is to be able to send an email, then this is what you need. But it's not going to go beyond that because that is what it was meant for in the first place. And that's kind of what you're going to get. So we have had to, so for the free and the core things, you want to make sure that it does what it's meant to do, and then you don't really want to go outside of that until you get to the modularity.
Yeah, right. I think I'm going to wrap it up, Dimi. You've been a great guest. I don't want to take up any more of your time because I've got the feeling you're a busy guy. But
it's 8 p.m. at my time, so we can go until 12 a.m. I
think we've covered a lot of ground, and I think it's been a fascinating conversation in the podcast and in the bonus content. We're going to end the show now, folks, and we'll see you next week. We'll have a similar great guest like Dimi, and hopefully offer you some insight and value. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.